Hey, this is attorney Elizabeth Potts Weinstein, and today we're going to talk about what to do if you have a California LLC or corporation that is for a business that no longer exists. Maybe you never even launched the business and you want to shut it down. But the problem is you don't want to have to pay the $800 a year franchise fee to the state of California. So is there any way to get out of this if this business no longer actually exists and you just need to shut down the LLC or corporation? So let's get into how to handle this situation. So what this situation applies to is you're someone who created an LLC or a corporation in California, and let's say you literally never launched this business, but it's been going on. You opened up this LLC or corporation months or years ago, and it's just been sitting there, nothing is happening. Or you did launch the business and it existed for a while, but it has now not existed for a while, and you just need to shut this thing down and close that loop. And the reason this is difficult in California is because in California, there's an $800 a year minimum franchise fee tax effectively on all LLCs and corporations. Currently, as the time I'm recording of this, there's a waiver for the first year, but that's going to go away for LLCs soon. So when you're watching this, that first year waiver may not exist, and it only counts for the first tax year, for most people, the first calendar year. So if you've created an LLC in November and it's here now in May, that doesn't help you for this tax year. So is there a way around it? There might be a way around that for you. And how you actually do that is using this procedure through the FTB, the Franchise Tax Board in California. So what you're going to do is and I'm going to show you the website for this, the Voluntary Administrative Dissolution Cancellation. The idea is you're telling the tax department that this business doesn't exist. Actually, it isn't making money, nothing is happening, and you're asking for relief from them. It's their discretion to let you kind of waive everything going forward and shut this business down. So how do you qualify for this? You have to make a written request, and I'll show you how that is done. There's a form, don't worry, where your business has to be not actively engaged in any transaction for the purpose of financial or monetary gain or profit. It's not doing business. It has stopped doing business or never did business, and it does not have any remaining assets. So what I mean is if your business has $1,000 in the checking account, you have to pay your taxes with that $1,000. If your business is still running, this doesn't apply to you. This is for the person who has never launched the business, or you actually shut the business down a while ago, but you didn't finish shutting it down because you didn't close the LLC or corporation. Now, if you're filing this doesn't actually close the business. It doesn't close the LLC or corporation. This is getting relief from the tax people, and then you also will file the forms to close the corporation. But one of the things is if you file forms to close an LLC or corporation, you are saying in those forms, under penalty of perjury, that you were going to do all the tax stuff. So you have to kind of do both of these things to get complete relief, to completely shut it down. Otherwise, you haven't done all the tax stuff and you lied in the forms that you filed. See what I'm saying? Okay. So they might, if you file the forms and file it correctly, it is their discretion to abate, which means waive, any unpaid taxes, interest, fees, penalties, which is what you want. You want them to try to abate everything, to waive everything. Now, this does not apply to money that you owe from when you were in business. So let's say you filed January 1st of last year, and you actually operated this business for the first 6 months. And then the last 6 months, you didn't. The business was shut down. Well, you still owe taxes for those first 6 months because you still existed as a business. It's just the waiver on the last 6 months and then this tax year because you still are existing in this tax year, right? That's what you're getting a waiver for, is the time you didn't operate. So as I said, it has to be a domestic corporation or LLC registered for more than 12 months. So there's this weird thing in this application where you're not allowed to get this abatement if your business has been operating for less than 12 months. Now, you still want to dissolve it and file all the forms you need to, but this doesn't apply to you. It has to be not actively engaging in a transaction, stop doing business or never did business, and have no assets. You can request this if the business is still listed with the Secretary of State and the Department of Corporations as being active, suspended, dissolved, canceled, like whatever it says, you can still apply for this. And as I said, when you file this form, you still have to file a certificate of dissolution or cancellation with the Secretary of State in California. And I did another video about that. I'll post that below. So there's two different forms, and you're going to either mail them or fax them. I personally try to fax them. You can go to a FedEx office place or somewhere like that to fax it because it will get there faster, but you can also mail it. And I'm going to show you the forms and what needs to go in there. And then after that, they're going to go through a bunch of paperwork and decide whether or not they're going to give you this waiver. I do not have a rule of thumb on how much they are granted. I've known people who have applied for this, but I don't have like a statistical analysis on how often it gets granted. But you know what? You got nothing to lose here to try to get these things waived. And they will impose a penalty on you if you lied. So don't do that. So what do the forms look like? All right. So there's a form for corporations, which includes an S corporation, C corporation, professional corporation, and then there's a form for LLCs. So let's look at the ones for corporations. These forms are almost exactly the same. It's just slightly different boxes because you're a corporation or LLC. So if you're a corporation, you have to fill out just the basic information about the corporation, who's going to be the person, a human person who's the contact person. And then you're answering questions to qualify you for this, which is the stuff we talked about already. So was it ever doing business? If it was doing business, when did it stop? Does it have any assets? Does it have any inventory? Also, does it have any licenses? So you need to first shut down your business license with the county or state or wherever you got it from. And this is what I'm saying is everything, before you apply for this, everything else has to be shut down. So bank accounts, no property, no inventory, no licenses, no employees. That's what I'm saying is the idea is this business like kind of doesn't exist already and or never existed, and you're asking them for relief because of that. And then you have to sign it under penalty of perjury. So don't lie on this stuff. And then you send it into them and then they'll look at it. And the LLC thing is pretty much the same thing. It's just got the words LLC in it instead of corporation. It's this exact same kind of form. So this is going to be really helpful for you if you never launched your business. This is going to be really helpful for you if you shut it down like 3 years ago and then never finished shutting it down because you didn't actually close the LLC or corporation. And there's all this paperwork that's technically still existing. So this does not apply in certain situations. Obviously, the business still exists, and if it's been open for less than a year. My big advice for you is to, if your business is never going to be launched, to shut it down with the Secretary of State, to terminate it as soon as possible, and then clean up all the tax stuff to the extent you can, whether you do this or whether you just file a tax return. Now, one of the things is that if your business is suspended or has a red flag on it with the Secretary of State because you haven't done your taxes, you won't be able to shut it down. So you first have to do this before you can shut it down. Otherwise, if it doesn't have that red flag, I'd shut it down first and then do this. Again, this is attorney Elizabeth Potts-Weinstein. If you have any questions about what we talked about today, feel free to post it in the comments below and I'll try to point you in the right direction. Thumbs up if you found this video helpful. Subscribe for more videos like this. And if you want even more connection, you have more questions, you can join the Patreon membership or you can sign up for the free Discord. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.